Welcome to Retreat Magic, conversations all about the power and the purpose of retreats. I'm your host, Lisa Dunford Dickman, a transformational life coach and the leader of life-changing South African Sea to Safari retreats. In these conversations, my guest and I will dive deep into the world of sacred transformational experiences, where wonder, alignment, and expansion meet. Let the magic begin. Hey, so welcome to Retreat Magic. My guest today is Linda Cain with Blue Diamond Events, who is the most amazing magical person. She helps others create retreat businesses as well as holding retreats herself. She's been so many amazing things in this world. She has a wonderful event planning company that does major events for big names, as well as really helping you get more out of your retreats and your businesses if you want to hold them. I highly recommend her work, and I'm so happy to have Linda here with us today. Hi, Linda.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Will you
So
share a little
great
more
to,
about yourself?
yeah, I was just going to say it's so great to be here and excited to have this conversation with you. So, Linda Cain, and my company is Blue Diamond Events. I've been producing and working with authors, speakers, and coaches and entrepreneurs and small businesses now. Well, actually, I've done a lot. Um, for
Yes, you have.
for
Yes, you have.
a little over 30 years. The last 22 kind of concentrated with our speakers, authors and coaches. But I like to say, if I've done everything from a bar mitzvah to a retreat. I mean, we've done so much in the course of our time together with my company and my team. I have a team of 3 that are full time, and then another team of 3 that come in as needed to help our clients on some of the larger projects that we work on. But I feel really, really blessed because in speaking in terms of retreats, all through my career, I was doing retreats before even was aware that they were called retreats, because we were taking, high end CEOs and managers and their clients off on these different excursions in around the world. And then when I got involved in working with our coaches, authors, and speakers, we were doing fulfillment programs, which actually in turn were retreats. And so, really, since the last 5 years, we've pivoted a lot of our focus on helping our clients discover how to have small events for big profits. And that leads us
Mm,
back into the retreat conversation.
that's wonderful. That's so, so wonderful. And I was at an event Linda helped facilitate, and it was in a January, and it was just amazing. It was amazing.
Thank you.
So,
We love it. We're
yes, and
crazy
it's so
about
much
it.
fun, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's a good first question. What do you love about retreats?
Oh, in addition to the ability to take people with you and go someplace that you love, you maybe have always wanted to go, or just to gather a tribe together and have a conversation or watch them work through a process and to be able to help them, is what I most enjoy about retreats, is the coming together of people that form a community that typically will continue to stay in relationship and stay in community going forward. And for the host, it's a most amazing way of connecting, getting, expanding your visibility, but really more importantly, expanding your message and
Mm,
really your training, your teaching, what you love putting out in the world. It's one of the most, I know, rewarding ways of bringing people together in order to be able to do that. And we just love watching the transformation of people, especially our hosts who like, gosh, I really want to do one, but it's so expensive, or I
mm,
can't afford help, or, I don't know what to do and I don't want to do it all myself. It's so amazing to watch them release and let go of those reins, trust us that we've got them, and watch them grow into this amazing process. And then they're like, I should have done this years ago. Why did I wait so long? You know? And it's like, yes, and then show them and how they can build that repeatable process and just
Mm.
make treats part of everything that they're doing every year.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I think you're right. One of my mentors always says that our businesses are for us first.
Mhm.
And when we're
100%.
holding transformational events, when we're
Mhm.
holding that sacred space for our clients, we go first. So there will
Mhm.
be challenges that come up as a retreat leader. It's really about who, well, that's how I see it in my Open to the Magic in
Mhm.
Africa retreats. I really see it as first about who I'm being called to be.
Yeah. Yes. Yes,
And s
100%. Mhm. And that's something I love about it because I always tell everybody, create your own stage. We just had a client who we've been working with now for we've done this, I think was our 6th retreat, with them, but when we started out with them, we were going to hotels, we were going to other venues, and we tried an Airbnb, and he's finally just said, "I have this huge property in San Diego and a, 5-bedroom home, and, I'm gonna just" he built a dome like a yurt in his
oh my
backyard that
gosh.
yeah, that can seat 30 people comfortably, and we've got a, audio visual in there, and it's like a dome ready to go. And he just created not only did he create his own stage, he literally created his own stage. And I love it. And now we just had this last weekend, we just had one of his clients had their first retreat at the
Oh,
house.
yay. Oh,
And, um,
yay.
and so
Well,
it was like
he created his own retreat space even.
he did, exactly. So now not only does he have a place that he loves, he can stay home, he can have people come to him, but he can also, gift it to people that he's working with, or make it available to other people to come and hold their retreats there, and it's really cool. It's fun, it's up in the mountains, and it's, up on a hill, and it's beautiful, and there's lots of places to go for walks and get outdoors,
Amazing.
and yeah, it was just amazing, and I was like, "Wow, you really took that to the" I said,
Right?
"Create your own stage." I wasn't I didn't know you were gonna create your
Do it
own,
literally.
but it's awesome, and I'm noticing more and more of that type of thing is happening because not only is it about destination and going someplace, but
Yes.
it's also about the business, how you're creating your business on your own terms, the way you wanna do business,
Yes.
and then people are showing up, and I love it.
Well, and I think the more personal it is, the more powerful it is.
Mhm, definitely.
So his land, his space, his geodesic dome is going to be more meaningful to him
Mhm.
than a conference room or even in a beautiful place or another venue. It sounds like it took you a little while to help him find the way. Like,
It was interesting because, when you start off, people don't always tell you their full vision of what they want and
mm,
sort of and sometimes they don't know it either. And in the case of John, he had an end goal, but he just didn't know what it was gonna look like. He knew he wanted to have, it would be nice to have his own space, but he just didn't know what that was gonna look like. So him and his wife together, they just pulled in their resources, their visions, and then but we had to try a few things to, make it feel get to the point where it was that he wanted it. And one of his this is what I love, is people are like, "Well, I have to do this certain process, and I have to, have it in a hotel," and, there's
mm,
industry-wide, there's, like, people teaching that, in order to do a 3-day enrollment, it has to be like this. And yes, there is a pattern to it. Yes, there are certain things that you have to hit, certain things you need in your content to move people along to understand how they can work with you. You want to show them,
yes.
what they're going to get if they want to continue on with you. So you have this responsibility to make sure that you're giving them, what they want, but also showing them the path to continue. But the thing I love is just like these guys did, you can totally do it on your own terms, and we I went to another event. It wasn't one that I, hosted, but it was one that I had wanted to attend for a long time because 'cause I'd heard a lot of really great things about it, and this gentleman, he looked like a cross between Duck Dynasty and ZZ Top. You know?
Mhm.
Barefoot, flashy, T-shirts with lots of designs, long beard, weird looking hair and hat, and, just, it was like, we're family. He created this family environment. All of the people that were there just absolutely adored him and loved him, and he had no breaks. He started at 8:30 and he went to 8:30 at night, and there was only like one official, "This is lunchtime for an hour, but come back because we have a lunchtime speaker." So he literally had just tons of people on his stages for 3 days, and there was no official. If you needed to go take care of you, you took care of you. You need to go have lunch, you went to have lunch. Pros and cons from that, from a event perspective, producer, because, I like our my clients to have time for, rest, uh, absorbing, they
Yes.
saturated that way, being able to take in the content, apply it, make some notes on it, be able to network, meet some of the people in the room in a different context. But that's just me and my design, and it worked for him, and he had like over 200 people, and they were just, loving on him,
Lit
and
up.
it was so good to see, and just reminding me that in my conversations with people, "Do it your way." Yeah, it's the old Nike
Yes.
slogan, "Do it your
That
way."
that's
And,
that's what I hear from you, that really
yeah,
you have to find your own way for it to be most meaningful, most powerful,
mhm.
to work best for you. And
Just like you
sometimes
have with your African trips,
it's
right?
it's true
I
that,
mean, you had this goal, this dream, and now you're doing this amazing thing, and having such, great fun, and giving
well,
people
and
an
I would
experience.
say I didn't follow the way you're supposed to do things. I didn't
Right.
start with a smaller retreat in the States.
Yeah.
I held my very first retreat was in South Africa, and
Yeah.
that works for me because going big works for me. That it,
Yeah.
in fact, feels better to me than playing small and like, oh, I have to do it this way. So
Yeah.
finding
Well,
that
it's the
way,
baby steps, right? It's the baby s
yes,
it's we're taught that, you know, like, when you're a toddler, you don't just jump up, like, you don't come out of the womb and start walking, and talking. But so there's baby steps. So to every business, there are baby steps.
yes,
And
absolutely.
but to get to your end result, you don't have to do as many of them when you've
Or
learned from people, observed from
yes,
people that are doing it, and tapped
abs-
into resources that are available to you, and using other experts in their fields so that you
absolutely.
get that knowledge quicker, then you can go big faster. You can dream big faster. You can make it happen faster. It's really what we wanna do and what we wanna create and how much time and energy we're gonna put into it, and then our belief.
Yes.
You have to believe in yourself that you're here to do what you're called to do in the world, and that you step into it 100%, no matter what other people think.
That's beautiful. And I think that's a lesson for everyone, whether they want to
Mhm.
hold a retreat or not, right? Like that
Mhm.
they really need to embrace that vision, embrace whatever it is, and know that you're here to do that. And
Mhm.
segueing retreats or attending retreats is a
Mhm.
really great way to embrace that vision, to get closer because we hire help when we need help creating events. We
Yep.
get great people, we learn the things we need to learn to be able to step up. And then if we choose to go on retreats, that's a way to uplevel our own personal energy if we go to a transformational event and make a big change in our life and embrace that vision. So, what's a little more of your why people should go on retreats?
Oh, I mean, my gosh, it's the reason I go to things that I'm not producing. Um, it's
Me too.
it's to meet other people, it's to network, it's to grow my own visibility, my own knowledge, my own leadership. It's also to see what other people are doing and how they're doing it, and if there's any takeaways for me. But the biggest reason that to go to events and to go to other retreats or to go to other people's programs is because it's the only way that I know to really create the conscious collective.
Mm-hmm.
So you're staying at home and you're not really out there and you're not going to things and you're only doing your thing, which is great. How are you really aware of what the collective is doing on earth? And
Mm.
how are we coming together to raise that consciousness, give people those opportunities to grow in our own leadership and to grow in our own awareness, our own energy, our own calling, if you're not going to other people's events, or at least putting yourself out there outside what you've created for yourself.
Oh,
To me,
yes, I
that's
love that so much.
the
And
biggest
I
reason.
think it is, and it
Mhm,
really is. So in Africa, one of my main intentions is to help my clients connect to that oneness,
mhm,
connect to that all that is, the universal sense of being loved and supported. And yes, I've been on retreats where, not just my own, where you get that sense of community, collective, a shared
mhm,
vision, a shared value, and that is
mhm.
so powerful. I know some people can say, especially in, challenging economic crisis
Yeah.
time, or a lot's going on in the world, which quite frankly is always, there's always
Oh,
a lot going on in the
it's
world.
always been.
Yes. And so people can say it's selfish to take time
Mhm.
out for retreat, but I actually think that is the least selfish thing you can do.
Oh, absolutely, because Lisa, because it is taking time for yourself. Every day we need to take time for yourself. And I'm like, I can testify to this to the biggest, like, 100%. I rarely take time for myself. I've had
Mm.
I've had to plan in my own schedule, my own exercise, my own making sure I'm eating better, making sure I spend time with my family, doing the things that I love, playing with my Pomeranian and reading books and binge watching, crazy movies. And if you don't take time to do the things that you love, then that's going to, if, and if you don't take time to take care of you, then what happens is that then goes into your work. And now you're the
Yes.
workaholic. You're the triple A personality person and you're a workaholic now. And if you're an introvert workaholic, it's even worse
Oh, because then you're
because
isolated.
yeah, because then you're in complete isolation. And so there has to be a balance. And what is balance? Balance is for you to decide what is balance. I'm not a big sleeper. I can function on shorter hours of sleep, but I love my afternoon nap, little 20-minute, 30-minute naps. And I love my, weekends that I set aside, a Sunday or something like that to set aside to just have family time that month, a couple times a month, and just get away from my work altogether, leaving the cell phone behind and doing things like that. So each of us have to determine what that is for us. But going to retreats, going to other events, getting out there, doing things, not only does it keep your creative juices going and it gives you ideas on what you can do in your, for the own retreats that you're doing yourself, but it gives you that, to me, it grounds you because it further helps you to say, I like, I don't like, I love, I don't love. Or it just allows you to get grounded and feel like you're complete. Because how sad is it that we have these opportunities and we don't take them because of money, or we don't think that we can afford it, or are all those objection
Or that
questions
we deserve it,
that we have.
or that we
Yeah,
deserve
that
to take that
really.
time or that money for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah, but we have
That
no
could,
problem like so here's a silly little kind of analogy, but so I had somebody tell me that they couldn't go on a retreat. The retreat was gonna cost them about $3,000 total. They really wanted to go. It was someplace it was to a Scotland trip, and they really, really wanted to go. It was probably one of the most affordable retreats I've ever seen a client put together, and they had a sponsor, which helped keep the prices down, and And she was just, like, I just can't spend it. I can't spend it. I can't
mm,
spend it. Anyway, so this woman ended up not going. But later in a networking that I ran into her in, I was listening to her and I was listening to her talk about how, she had gotten, like she goes to Starbucks twice a day. She goes to movies, twice a month. And I was listening to these things that she was saying, and in my mind, I was like,
Adding them
Good
up.
grief good grief, woman. If you just did 2 months of pivoting in your finances and how you're spending, and you would put all your Starbucks money into a fund, there's like 500 bucks right there. Put all your movies into a fund, that's probably like another 300 bucks right there. Anyway, it was just it's really, if you really and truly wanna do something, and it's what you wanna do, you're gonna figure out a way to make it. You're gonna figure out a way to pay it. And it's those objection handlings,
Mm,
what
mhm.
really is your why, and what do you really wanna do here on Earth, and
Yes.
what do you really wanna experience? And
Well,
if
and if you,
yeah,
because
go.
I think that's a good question. So what is going to be different if you don't do this thing that your soul so
Mhm.
desires? What's going to be different next year?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have to go on retreat, but if your soul is calling you for more,
Mhm.
and you're denying that desire, and you're just denying your
Mhm.
why in the world, right? Then what is going to be different if you don't set aside time for self-reflection, if you don't
Uh,
get help to see what you haven't seen before so you can shift old energies, that
mhm.
you don't step out there and stretch, get out of your comfort zone, set time aside for yourself, go a
Mhm.
beautiful place or join with a transformative person, so that next year you're living even more of your vision, you're having more
Mhm.
of the impact you're meant to have in the world, and you're really having more joy and happiness, which
Yeah,
translates to your family, your community,
exactly.
and your work.
Exactly, and translates into that more confidence and how you feel about yourself and where you're going and what you're doing. I've even had people say that they just went on ahead and booked something and did it and didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell their friends, they didn't tell their family. They just did it because that was the only way that they could go and get away from those little voices and get away from people like, "What are you gonna go do that for? Why are you spending that kind of money?" They just
That's
went and did it,
brilliant.
and then they told about their trip later or their retreat later, and they're like, "Well, I didn't know you would did that." "Yeah, I did that." And then they're like the next time they're like, "Hey, I'm going here. Anybody wanna go with me?" So, sometimes it's just a matter of, if there's something that you really wanna do, you
Yeah,
just
you
have to
find
put
the
that
way.
step and you find that way, and I would encourage people to, if you have naysayers around you, just do something quietly for yourself. And once you've done that, you'll never not do something for yourself ever again.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Mhm,
important, so
mhm.
beautiful. Oh my goodness. Well, there are so many reasons to both
Yes.
hold retreats and go on them. Um,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here to share. Can you
Yeah.
share more of what you have upcoming and what offers you have available for people?
Oh, sure. Well, taking my own advice, we're we're in the midst of planning a retreat for the 2nd week of August this summer, and really excited about that because it's coming together, and it's going to be like a retreat on retreats, but even more, because everyone who comes, everyone who makes that decision to join us is going to have an opportunity to share. So we're going to kind of mastermind it a little bit. So I'm like really, really excited. I'm like pulling in all the things that I love about retreats and mushing them all together in one big plan. So excited about that. We also have if people want to get on our email list and be part of our teaching and trainings and things that we're putting out there, we have a guide, a free guide that we do. It's the Profitable Events, the complete guide, where I break down what a virtual event would look like, what an in-person event would look like, a hybrid event where you have people with you, but you're also zooming people in, and then the retreat and destination
Mm,
process. And I love what we put together because we break down what are the 4 different main kinds of events people are doing, and then how you figure out which ones are best for you, and maybe it's a
Mm,
combination. But there's little worksheets and there's fun little things to tickle your mind and get your creative juices going. Um, so I'd love to make that available to your audience.
yes, of course. We'll put
Yeah,
that any links in the show notes
yeah.
below. But for the viewers and wait, is there anything else you would like to share?
And just I love obviously, I love talking and I'm passionate about events. And so if anybody ever just wants to like have a chat or a call or, drop their like ideas like, hey, I'm doing this, Linda, and I think I might be stuck. I love those conversations. I'm happy to have conversations like that. And once a month, we hold an open house. So people on our list, or if they're on watching me on Facebook and Instagram, they can see when those open houses come up. And I just sometimes I have one person, sometimes I have a bunch of people, 20, 30 people. And we just take questions, we talk about events, and we get creative and just, let the conversation flow. And I love that.
That's amazing. And it's very clear from what we've shared today, but I know personally Linda is great to chat with from our
Thank
own
you.
chats. So for sure
I
take
know.
advantage of that
It's
because
only
that's a big offer. So okay, we
yeah.
will have all this in the show notes below, so check it out. But also for our listeners, tell us where they can reach you, what your website is.
Okay, great. Our website is eventsbybluediamond.com. There's no E in the blue. And so eventsbybluediamond.com. You can also reach me at Linda Cain Office at gmail.com. And people can always text me too, 626-252-2834. I'm very much a texty girl. You know, when I love texting because you can communicate, you can pass quick messages back and forth, and then I can move people off to other platforms and other ways of connecting if there's a further conversation to be had.
Amazing. And that is a very generous offer. And Linda is an excellent person to chat with. So you should take advantage of that.
Mhm,
And so the takeaways I hear from today are really make it your own, whether
mhm,
it's your retreat business or just your work and your world and your life business. Making it
mhm,
your own is going to make it more powerful. Create your own
mhm,
stage.
mhm.
And then honor your soul desires
Yeah.
because that really, when you were lit up, when we're raising the consciousness of the universal, when we're raising our own consciousness, we're raising that of the planet. And that's really creating the world that we all want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's been such a pleasure to be with you here today and right back at you. I love what you're doing. I love what you're creating in the world. And I told my husband, I said, I just want to hang with Lisa every day.
Yay.
It's fun.
That I would love that too. Okay. Well, it's
Too
so
much
good
fun.
to talk to you and thank you for sharing all you do in the world.
Thank you.
Okay. Until next time, this is Retreat Magic and we will see you again soon. Thank you for joining us on our Retreat Magic journey. If something stirred in your soul today, follow that thread. Our incredible guest offerings and my Open to the Magic in South Africa retreat are linked in the show notes. Remember, the real magic always begins within.